Dillian the Body Snatcher right here. It's a champ. Big up to Sporting Icon. Subscribe. Otherwise, I might pay you guys a visit.
Alright everyone, I hope you're all doing fan-dabby-dozy. It's Friday, that means it's the weekend tomorrow. Fight night, Wilder vs Fury, if you're happy about that. And if you're not subscribed, make sure you do so. Especially if you are Team Fury. Make sure you click that subscribe button. We'll send him all the luck that we possibly can. Hopefully he gets that victory. And hell, even if you're a Wilder fan, feel free to click that subscribe button. Unless, of course, you're a Wilder fanatical fan, as in those who leave all common sense at the door. I probably wouldn't bother subscribing. You're not going to like it over here. I end up making you rip off your own frilly knickers because I tell way too much truth for your liking. Now, 2 days ago, Deontay Wilder, he went in on Dillian Whyte, blaming Dillian Whyte for not getting a world title shot. Even though he's been number one for over 1,000 days and taken on real tough opposition, that's still not good enough. Wilder saying that he should have to go fight Dominic Breazeale, go fight Luis Ortiz. Basically, all kinds of roadblocks that no other fighter has to do. Dillian Whyte is going to go fight this guy, that guy, and that guy, plus slap his own bell end 5 times, sit on a traffic cone while touching his own toes and spin around several times, jump over several buses on his motorbike through a ring of fire. This is what Dillian Whyte's got to do, but yet no other heavyweight has to do that to get a world title shot except for Dillian. If you don't understand that Wilder is doing everything that he can to not fight Dillian, then you're a little bit mad. Now, Dillian Whyte has responded to Deontay Wilder, where Deontay Wilder claimed that Dillian Whyte hasn't got a world title shot because it's his own fault. Which is ridiculous, right? Yeah, it's his fault that the WBC are babying Wilder. It's Dillian Whyte's fault that Deontay Wilder fights cherry pick after cherry pick. It's Dillian Whyte's fault that he's been number one for over 1,000 days. How dare he? How dare he? Right? Anyway, this is what Dillian Whyte had to say about Deontay Wilder's statement. And by the way, if you haven't seen that video about Deontay Wilder's statement, that will pop up at the end of this video. So sit tight, look pretty, and that will pop up. You can go give it a watch just so you don't have to go searching for it. Anyway, Dillian Whyte's statement. I keep saying time and time again, I've offered to fight both Ortiz and Breazeale multiple times. Ortiz turned them all down, like he turned down the Joshua fight. Secondly, aside from a number of other attempts to make the fight with him voluntarily, Dominic Breazeale and I got mandated to fight. I accepted the fight. We had a date for the fight, and then the WBC pulled Breazeale out of the fight to fight Deontay Wilder, because Tyson Fury didn't want to have the rematch. How was I refusing to fight Breazeale? Wilder's been cherry-picking easy voluntary opponents for years and years. Povetkin is better than Luis Ortiz. Povetkin is an Olympic gold medalist, a former world champion, and he's only lost to Klitschko and AJ. Luis Ortiz is a nobody who has beaten nobody. Parker, Rivas, and Chisora would all beat Ortiz. It's a smokescreen by Wilder to hide his cowardness and con the fans. Dillian Whyte's statement, and I echo that. Now, you see, I've said that many of times. I've done a video a few weeks ago doing a direct comparison between Ortiz and Povetkin. But yet, the Wilder nut huggers, these guys want Dillian Whyte to go fight Luis Ortiz. Listen, I'm not against that fight, not at all. But the fact is, and it is a fact, Ortiz has lost 2 of his last 5 fights. He's never beaten anybody of any great note. So who is Luis Ortiz? Why is he stood there protecting Deontay Wilder like his own personal security guard? It's ridiculous, right? Now, again, yes, the WBC, they did order Dillian Whyte versus Luis Ortiz, but it's for secondary mandatory. Wilder nut huggers, get it through your head. It was secondary mandatory. That meant 2 or 3 years later, Dillian Whyte might get a world title shot. But yet, plenty of other people like Dominic Breazeale get a world title shot ahead of him. Ortiz has had 2 against Wilder. Fury is about to have his second one with Wilder. In fact, he's going to have 3 against Wilder. But yet none of these guys have had to do what it is that Dillian Whyte has done. So I don't understand why Dillian Whyte has to jump through hoops of fire when nobody else has to. Did Tyson Fury have to fight Luis Ortiz? Did Dominic Breazeale have to fight Luis Ortiz? Why is Luis Ortiz his own gatekeeper? I don't understand this whole situation. I don't get it. Really, I don't get it. Now, yes, Dillian Whyte did offer Luis Ortiz, and I did videos, several of these videos, when it actually happened. Dillian Whyte's been on this channel several times, and we've spoken about all of this. We've spoken about it. I spoke with Eddie Hearn. Again, you guys would have seen it, where I mentioned about Ortiz. I mentioned about Dominic Breazeale. So the paper trail's there, the receipts are there, okay, where Ortiz turned down the Dillian Whyte fights. He turned them down. The last one with Dillian Whyte, he turned it down because he wanted to go fight on the Wilder Fury undercard. This was back on December the 1st in Los Angeles. Turned it down turned down a headline pay-per-view event at the O2 Arena for $1 million or $2 million to go fight, was it Travis Kaufman for what, 100 grand? See? But yet, the Wilder Nut Huggers, they don't talk about this. And everything I've just said to you is fact. It's fact. It's not an opinion, it's fact. And I know Wilder Nut Huggers, these guys get fact and opinion. They put them together like it's the same damn thing. It's not the same damn thing. Just because you want to believe something doesn't make it a fact, okay? You can't believe something that's not true and believe it into existence. It doesn't happen, okay? So Dillian has offered these guys multiple fights, multiple times, especially Ortiz, offered him multiple times. Now, I will agree with one thing about Dominic Breazeale, that Eddie Hearn was so hell-bent on making the Whyte-Chisora rematch rather than really pushing for Dominic Breazeale. Now, I know Dominic Breazeale turned down a couple of offers, but I think that Eddie Hearn could have made more of an effort. But I think Eddie Hearn really, really wanted the rematch with Whyte and Chisora. That's what I think he really wanted as both of his fighters, which meant that he gets paid a hell of a lot of money. And of course, the fans would fill up the arena, which they did. And their styles make a very good fight. Whyte versus Breazeale, stylistically, wouldn't have been a great fight. Dillian would have just smoothed him out within the first round or two. Okay, so from that point of view, Dillian Whyte, he tried to fight Dominic Breazeale. Dillian Whyte is a case of, to Eddie Hearn, you find me anybody. I'll fight anybody. Eddie Hearn, I believe he dropped the ball when it come to Dominic Breazeale. But then eventually it was mandated that Dillian Whyte versus Dominic Breazeale happened, and the WBC pulled Dominic Breazeale out of that fight to go fight Wilder because Fury didn't take the immediate rematch with Wilder. You guys will remember that. So how is that Dillian Whyte's fault? He can't do anything about it. Dillian Whyte fought Joseph Parker, Derek Chisora, Oscar Rivas. All of these guys, as he said right there, would beat the brakes off of Luis Ortiz. You may disagree with that one, but I'm telling you right now, all of these guys have far better resumes than Ortiz. Ortiz, please tell me who it is that he has fought and defeated. Tell me. You can't tell me. So, yeah, for me, Deontay Wilder, you are a coward. And I hope that Tyson Fury rips that belt away from you this weekend, SAS style. Rescue that damsel in distress, that green belt that you've ridiculously named Sophia because you believe in like these Sophia gods of the universe, the creators of life and the takers of life. Absolutely madness, right? But that belt needs ripping away from Wilder, and then Wilder and his fanatical fan base, not his proper fans, but his fanatical fan base, can then disappear into the shadows again. And then we can have light over the boxing universe. Because these guys are a bad, bad shade on the boxing scene. They really are. Anyway, that's Dillian Whyte's statement. Of course, he's not happy with Deontay Wilder's statement, but of course he's not. But in some ways, I think that maybe Deontay Wilder... Listen, I think Deontay Wilder knows the complete garbage that he speaks, but he will say whatever he's going to say because, as I said before, he's got a fanatical fan base that will back up Wilder no matter what he says. He could slap their own granny across the mush and they will go, oh, well, it was my granny's fault, not Wilder's fault. So Wilder knows he can say and do whatever it is that he wants, and these guys will give him pass after pass after pass. He's got 43 fights. They didn't know who he was less than 2 years ago, but suddenly now he's the greatest thing since sliced bread. Anyway, I hope Tyson Fury rips that belt away from Deontay Wilder, and then he goes and fights Dillian Whyte for an all-British clash. Hopefully here in the UK, whether it be Old Trafford or wherever it will be. It's far too big for an O2 Arena or the Manchester Arena, so it's going to have to be a stadium. That's going to be an epic fight. So either way, first things first, Tyson Fury, go beat the crap out of that average boxer. Yes, he's got a big punch, but he's an average boxer. Again, how do you go this long and don't even have the basic fundamentals of boxing? I will never know. Anyway, Dillian Whyte, not happy with Deontay Wilder's statement. Of course he's not, and why should he be? And I think one of the reasons why he's responded to it, because, listen, let's be honest, Wilder is using Dillian Whyte like he uses Anthony Joshua for clout. He's just using their names, is what Wilder's doing to promote his own fight. Get people like me talking about him, you talking about him, okay? But anyway, hopefully, after this weekend, we don't ever need to talk about Deontay Wilder again, other than me making a video saying, oh, Deontay Wilder, after he got knocked out by Tyson Fury, had decided to quit. That's the only video that I need to be making on Wilder going forward. But We'll have to wait and see what happens, won't we? Anyway, you guys drop your thoughts below about it. Click thumbs up. Make sure you are subscribed. And I'll catch you all on the next video.